So it's much worse than that. And then what I'm explaining to you is that they can get your religious communities like they did in Singapore. You know, people that are munafiq. The term munafiq means a hypocrite who plans or aids and abets the deprecation, the derision, you know, or the defamation, or the demise of a fellow believer, of a fellow Muslim, or a neighbor, or anyone in general, that does it stealthily, that does it discreetly, that does it incognito, but yet in the face of the individual or the target, they pretend that everything is okay as they accept them, but they really despise them. That's called a munafiq. And there's a lot of them in Singapore, man. A lot of munafiq. A lot of them in Singapore, man, who are running travel agencies, who are running religious community centers, places where people have to go get zakat. They have to appeal for religious affairs. These people are munafiq. Or I should say Allah adihim, but I say lana. They're munafiq in Singapore. And Dr. Tun Mahathir, he warned us about them. He warned us about them. Dr. Mahathir warned us, even though he's political, but he warned us about these munafiqs, and he warned us about their alliance with the British. Now, you got a lot of Latinos who are living normal, accepted lives. They're about to get on the bus. A lot of them work with sorcery or soothsaying, and also what they call trabajo de bruja. See, what they're going to do is, I'm sitting here, they're going to lock me in this corner, and I'm going to have to go through them to get off the bus. I always get locked in this corner. The trabajo de bruja, meaning consultation of witchcraft, soothsaying, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you can feel it, man. So that money that I needed, simply under $7,000 would have set me straight, man. I would have been able to pay that back in 2 months. But nobody had the money. But now everybody's coming up with money to take care of my father's ceremonies. Everybody's coming up. And this is not a discreet complaint like, oh, you have a problem. No, I don't have a problem. That was his decision. But this is what I'm showing you. Enter the conspiracy. Enter the conspiracy, my friends. This is a grand conspiracy going on to destroy a human being, especially of my ethnicity. Grand. It is a very grand conspiracy. It's kind of like Vengeance and the Whip. As when 915 2nd Avenue in Seattle, Washington, 915 2nd, that's the headquarters where the State Department sits. There was a man who came in a wheelchair, right? He was a Caucasian man. He was Scots-Irish. He came in a wheelchair, bastard. And what he did was, when he saw me, right, he was looking at me, right, and he made the noise. He was making a sound like, you know, that sound is emulate the sound of a whip, of a taskmaster's whip. You know, meaning that I was under the whip. And this is what Senator Feinstein and other people are presiding on. I mean, she took off Senator Feinstein, Dianne Feinstein, whose husband, same bag shop they go to, I go to. Husband Iran, her husband is in Iran. I go to the same bag shop that they go to. See, this man, he's involved with that stuff. You see, they go to the same bag shop I go to, Senator Feinstein. She took some pressure off because they had people out here from JSOC following behind me. They had people with JSOC is Joint Special Operations Command. They had people out here from JSOC. They had people out here from SOCOM, and they're not very friendly to Afro-Americans. JSOC and SOCOM, they would kill you. They would take you. They would put a bullet in your head faster than you can say, well, you're on Cheerios. You'd be gone. Them people have no mercy. They're a mixture of Asians, called rednecks, Asians, Latinos, who are like really conditioned to kill out. This JSOC. They had those people behind me, man. They had Blackhawks coming in the house, man, doing circuits around Mrs. Alvarez's house at 1922 Palouse. Circuits, man. And Senator Feinstein stepped in. She intervened. She slowed it down. It was worse. And I had no idea why, man. And Singapore and Israeli intelligence operations, which I have full proof of it, man. Full proof, man. And the taxi driver had to get me to City Hall and evade them because they were following us aggressively. Had revved up engines. Both Singaporeans and intelligence and Israelis in the car. It's crazy, man. It's very, very crazy. And I have no idea why. I have no idea. Right here on U.S. soil in San Francisco. Right here. Shit is going on. I have no freaking idea why is going on. And my family is complicit with it, especially the Descendant side. They know things and they're not telling me what actually happened. They heard things from the government and they believe those things, and they're lies. They're complete lies. You know, like maybe I was brainwashed in Islam, conditioned. We don't know what conditioning he went through overseas, and then came back. You know, and it's mostly because I had a lost passport and then gave them back a damaged one, and they're very pissed off just because of that. I gave them back a mutilated passport, and then Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And then what happened is that I was staying with a man in Tanzania whose wife was actually standing right next to Laura Bush. Was allowed to stand next to Laura Bush because immediately after I was there, as his guest, things went well for him. It's like he got a sudden opening of wealth and rizq, sustenance, for looking after me all those months that I didn't have a passport. Even the former president of Tanzania, a Muslim, said, we don't know why America is doing this to you, keeping you in a foreign country for months on end with no passport. We don't know why. We don't know why. This is a former president of a country, a couple of former presidents. That was the time. I think Julius Nyerere was still alive. He said, both men represent people linked to Julius, as well as another one appointed by Julius. A president after him said, we don't know why America's doing this, man. To you, man, you haven't done nothing. So this is racial bigotry of the deepest sort. Even when I used to go to the Dar es Salaam embassy, before the tragedy happened, I used to see in the back people staring at me very angrily, rednecks, people that you call redneck with crew cuts, military crew cuts. Back then, I had no idea why. You know why? I'm going to tell you why, folks. These fucking people here did September 11th. You want the proof? You know you're going to get the fucking proof. When I was in Europe with these fucking assholes you see here, some stupid American citizens, dumbasses, don't know, in Europe, all the papers came out in Spain when I was in Europe. Spain, Germany, Italy, it came out that Air Force One was threatened. It was called directly after the towers were hit. Somebody called Air Force One. How the fuck do you call Air Force One? The phone direct, and they said, we got the towers, you're going to be hit next. And what they did, Colonel Danny Barr is the commander, BAR. Colonel Barr took it to maximum altitude so that no SAMs, surface-to-air missiles or anything could hit it. Get it to maximum altitude, man, and get the President Bush out of there, out of Earth range, man, on the top near the stratosphere, man, as much as you can go, man, even to the point where the occupants and the crew have to put on masks. I keep the breeze so high up there, man. They had to get them up there because somebody called the direct code to communicate with Air Force One. That's somebody inside. That was all in the European papers. Because someone in European intelligence leaked it. Spanish or other intelligence, they heard, man. They leaked it, man. They leaked it to the Europeans, and they wanted to get all them papers off. See, all of you dumbasses drinking beer, you weren't there. You weren't there. I was in Europe. You see, at the time, studying in gemology out in Germany. At the fucking time. You people don't know. These fucking people had not people here, but people closely linked and wrapped in. Let's put it this way: people who make things like the Room 611 and AT&T. They found the systems, especially the NARIS surveillance system. People linked up with all that kind of world. They had complicity with this shit, man. Because they want to create a security climate where civil rights are taken away. A lot of things are built for Afro-Americans where they consider us not only that we're Gentiles and we're Goyim, but that we're dogs. They want all that taken away. And they don't like all that stuff that people were traditionally garbage and maids and doormen. And now you're pushing for your rights. And you don't want to work in the fields anymore, you know, down in Salinas. You don't want to work in the fields. You want to be doctors. You want to go to Stanford. They don't like that, man. They don't like that. They're very hierarchical, man. These people. So these people did this shit right here, man. They orchestrated this shit, man. You know, I mean, forget about the Boston thing. You know, that was something that probably was allowed, but they didn't orchestrate it. But come on, man, look at the emergency code. Let me call 911. Something happens, you know, 911. You know, coinciding with the emergency code. Come on, wake the fuck up, man. So I've been maligned, targeted for economic deprivation for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, with the help and complicity of my own Muslim religious community. Hypocrites, munafiqs, with a capital meme or a capital M in English. Munafiqs, they straight up munafiqs. You have to be very careful, even in places of prayer. I can't go, you know, normally, just that, somebody comes, stab you in the back, man. Yeah. But, you know, once they know that you're gaining parity and you're winning, these people are vindictive and they're bloody, man. Especially the ones of the Indo-Pakistani variety, very bloody. Very bloody. You got to be very careful with them, man. Yeah. Very careful. Very, very hypocrites, man.